Hi, this is Matthew. I'm going to talk about the next Beach Boys album, which is, well, it's 15 big ones, but there is a live album and a couple of compilations I'll talk about first. Real quick, at the end of 73, they went and Capitol, because they started to be a little more popular, Capitol decided to release the Beach Boys live in concert and one big collection in 74 and then a couple in 75. So we'll go hit those. On side one of live in concert, we have Sail on the Sailor then we had Slip John B, The Traitor, sorry. And then You Still Believe in Me, California Girls, Darlin'. Pretty good concert, actually. There's a lot of left and right people on vocals, and the drums are in different positions. It's all different venues, of course. But it sounds pretty good. And then side two is Marcella, Caroline No, Leaving This Town, Heroes and Villains. And it's a double album, so you have side three. Funky Pretty, Let the Wind Blow, Help Me Rhonda, Surfer Girl, Wouldn't It Be Nice? And then side four of the album is going to be on the second side of that double. We got Love, Don't Worry Baby, Surfing USA, Good Vibrations, and then Fun. And that is it. So then, in 74, Capitol put out a huge, very important collection called Endless Summer. And that was huge. It got them popular again. People wanted to play their stuff again. And it was just huge. Yeah, it was a double album. Had some UK stuff too, so really good stuff. And we'll go through that. It's a mixture of mono and stereo stuff, but some of the monos are like kind of off to the right. It's really strange. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish, but it's very weird. But a cool collection and huge, very pivotal. It got them very popular again, which is great because they, at least in this country anyway, they were always big in the UK and Europe, but not here. They had declined a bit. This brings a bit back to people's notice again. And on side one we have Surfing Safari, Surfer Girl, Catch a Wave, The Warmth of the Sun, Surfing USA, and side two, Be True to Your School. It's the single version, it's the album version, not the single version, which is kind of sad. But it's on here. Little Deuce Coupe, In My Room, Shut Down, Fun. And then we go to side three, I Get Around, Girls on the Beach, Windy, Let Him Run Wild, Don't Worry Baby, and we go on to side four to finish it out. California Girls, Girl Don't Tell Me, Help Me Rhonda. It's the album version, not the single version again. I don't know why. It's a strange choice that they made, but whatever. You're So Good to Me, All Summer Long, and that is the album. But the bonus track on 87, if you have the 87 CD, which I don't think I've ever seen, because obviously one disc there. Let's see what the number it is. Oh, it's Good Vibrations. Yeah, that is on the streaming version, by the way. Yes, okay. Yeah, that's been included ever since 87. Yeah, why that wasn't on there is strange, and I really feel. Yeah, I know it's 60, like 2 to 63 to kind of 65-ish, but that should have been there. And I think all of the Pet Sounds stuff, I feel, wouldn't it be nice? God Only Knows. Well, yeah, Slipknot B should be on here. Those kinds of songs, but they're not. But it is on the streaming version. Let me go find the other collection. The next year in 75, Capitol again puts out another one. As we get to 76, we go to now something called Spirit of America, which I think is a lot more B-sides and different things, but that did so well they thought, hey, we'll just make another one. And so we go on side one here. We start with Dance, 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 which should have been on the other one, and it was not. Glad to see that here. Breakaway. A Young Man Is Gone. 409. Yeah, that should have been the other one too, and it wasn't. The Little Girl I Once Knew. Spirit of America, which is a good tune. And side 2 has Little Honda. That's a pretty cool version. Hushabye. Hawaii. Oh, Drive-In. Good to My Baby. Tell Me Why. Which of course is the Beatles cover of that one. And then we go to side 3 since it's a double again. Do you remember This Car of Mine? Please Let Me Wonder. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? That Freaky Lyman cover. Custom Machine. And then side 4, Barbara Ann. Yeah, that should have been on in the summer too, I feel. But it wasn't. Salt Lake City. Don't Back Down. When I Grew Up to Be a Man, that should have been on there too. And it wasn't, but it's on here anyway, so that's fine. Do You Want to Dance? Graduation Day. Some other formats. Tell Me Why it was not on the cassette version. Oh, they moved some stuff around on the tape version. And the 8-track tape, of course, running order differs. If you had the 8-track, here's the 8-track version. Program 1 is Dance, 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 Breakaway, A Young Man Is Gone, The Little Girl I Once Knew. Because there's 4 quote-unquote tracks or programs on an 8-track, which I played with for a second, but the 8-track snapped. But I've at least seen them and I messed with them a little bit, not much. That's Spirit of America. Program 2 is Little Honda, Hushabye, Hawaii, Drive-In, Good to My Baby, Tell Me Why. And program 3 is 409, Do You Remember This Car of Mine? We Wonder, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? And Barbara Ann. Program 4 is Custom Machine, Salt Lake City, Don't Back Down, When I Grew Up to Be a Man, and Do You Want to Dance? And Graduation Day. Any reissues? Oh, it's a live recording, I guess, but they studio versioned it on that. There was a gold CD version of it. And now we'll go find the next one, and next and final compilation here before I talk about 15 big ones. 1 second here. It is, yeah, Good Vibrations, Best of the Beach Boys, it's called. And what we have on that one, side 1 is Ceylon Sailor, Sloop John B, God Only Knows, Darlin', and some music to your day, interesting. Wouldn't it be nice? Side 2 has Good Vibrations, Do It Again. You know, you think if that's your title, if Good Vibrations is the title of your compilation, that would be first. But that's just me. I didn't ask me. I wasn't alive. Caroline No. Friends. Surf's Up. Heroes and Villains. So that brings it up a little bit more up to date there with some different tracks. And there's something else I don't think on here. Let me double check. One more, guys. One more compilation. In '76, Capitol put out 20 Golden Greats. Also, so we have on side 1, I assume this is going to be most likely a double, I imagine. Surfing USA, Fun. I Get Around, Don't Worry Baby, Little Deuce Coupe, When I Grow Up to Be a Man, Help Me Rhonda. Hopefully it's the single version. I don't know for sure. The only one that's in print is In the Summer and the concert one. These others are not. I can't get to them. California Girls, Barbara Ann, Sloop John B, side 2. That's a lot on side 1. Wow. Side 2 continues. 10 tracks on side 1. That's amazing. And then we have You're So Good to Me, God Only Knows, Wouldn't It Be Nice, Good Vibrations, Then I Kissed Her, Heroes and Villains, and then Darlin', Do It Again, the single version, I Can Hear Music, and then Breakaway into the album. So yeah, all those compilations by Capitol in the meantime, because they were getting popular. But I think the only one that did really any good was In the Summer. The others that did not chart very well for whatever reason. But now we'll get to why I'm really here, but I wanted to cover those before I did them. That way, if you are looking for everything, you'll know what is there. I wish I could stream it all and check it out and see which versions are what, but I can't. In the Summer is the only one that is available. It's a good collection. I wish it had been longer, had more songs, but that's just me. We'll move on to that particular album. Now, 15 Big Ones is a mixture of new stuff with a bunch of covers of rock and roll and R&B tunes from the 50s and 60s being covered by the band. Beach Boys have their own studio for Brother Records. Brian Wilson is now fully involved again producing. He had several years of where he would eat and drink and smoke and just not really do much, but he did get around on this album here. Of course, Bonnie Chaplin and Rick McFadden do leave the band at some point in this, but they're on here, but kind of some of their final outings. Mixture of recording dates, they had started in Colorado Caribou's Ranch and then decided to go to Brian's place. But also that Caribou place caught on fire. They lost some tape, some tapes in the fire, and to kind of start over again, and a bunch of other things. Murray Wilson dies, the father of the Wilsons. He dies in '73. They replaced a manager. Lots of things were going on in the band. A lot of turbulence and just not great times for the most part. But they put out a pretty darn good album, I thought. It sounds, of course, with it being 73 to 76, the technology changes, the recordings changed, the sound's totally different. Definitely a lot more polished, slicker again. Probably more tracks to put vocals and things on that they probably didn't have before. But yeah, I think a very solid album regardless. I really enjoyed it. Rock and Roll Music is the one that I heard first, and that is on here. I believe this is the one my mom has, besides In the Summer. I think this is the other album she has by them, if I remember right. Going to her records years ago, we pulled this out. I'd never heard any of the later Beach Boys before. It was very strange to hear this album. Everything's kind of at a slower to medium tempo. Nothing's super fast. But yeah, very good album. Lots of different people singing on it. Different ways of doing the covers and the new songs. Covers definitely stand out just because it's funny how people do covers sometimes, and sometimes you'll change words, and sometimes you won't change the words. Yeah, very enjoyable. It's kind of neat to hear, people doing covers for the most part. Rock and Roll Revival was going on. Popularity was better for them now. Album did fairly well, better than some of them had done. I think some were. They had all these new songs, but they'd kind of had to go on the oldie circuit for a while, but yeah. It's a very solid album. We'll go through everybody and the personnel and all that. We start with, of course, Rock and Roll Music, which, of course, is a Chuck Berry song. Our lead vocals are Mike Love, of course. He does several vocals on here. It's Okay is a Brian Wilson and Mike Love song that Mike Love and Dennis Wilson do singing on. Hadophonia is next. It's Brian Wilson, Love, and Dana Ravel, with Mike Love, Al Jardine, Dean Wilson, Brian Wilson, and Carl Wilson. Everybody's singing on this one. And then Chapel of Love, that cover, Jeff Berry and Ellie Greenwich and Phil Spector. Is it the Dixie Cups? I can't remember who did that one. It's the whole Phil Spector Wall of Sound thing. Brian Wilson is the lead on that one. And then we have Everyone's in Love with You, which is Mike Love's song that he sings on also. Talk to Me, Joe Seneca. I don't remember who covered that one, or who the cover of is that. Carl Wilson does the singing. I don't remember what cover that is. I don't know if I know that one. That same song is a Brian Wilson and Mike Love song, I assume. Wilson Love, I assume, is Brian. Brian Wilson sings it. They'd also said, a lot of the people have been saying, if you get Brian on the thing, it'll do better. People, think of him as being like the main person on the album, the main creator. So if you get him going, it'd be better. Luckily they managed to kind of get him to start trying to do things again. Get him out of the house. He did go on tour with them, in fact. I think there are some lives from this point. We'll see when we get into the next album in '77. But yeah, he's more involved again, kind of starting to sort of come out and be around and do things again. This kind of thing kind of maybe starts him sort of starting to head that way, which is good. So we end with TM song, it's called, which is the Transcendental Meditation again. I assume Brian Wilson. Al Jardine is the vocalist. Yeah, there's like this like fight thing going on. They just manufactured fight like it's on the street or something, and then it breaks into this song. It's not very long, but it's interesting. Just kind of talking about how great transcendental meditation, or TM as it's always shortened to, is how great it is for you and how everyone should do it. And the Maharishi is great. He started it. It's kind of just talking about what it is. And they were still very much into that. Even in '76, they were still into that stuff. So definitely influenced a lot of these artists and groups at this point. George Harrison always talked about it, and they, I guess, talked about it at least at this point, and many others did. So it really, some people it really helped, and other people it didn't. It just kind of depended on, like any religion, it's what your feelings are on and what you take out of it. And that is side 2 now. So 8 on side 1 there, because there's 15 big ones. So yeah. Palisades Park, I think that's Freddie Boom Cannon, I think. It says Chuck Barris on it, but Carl Wilson, Susie Cincinnati. It was Al Jardine wrote that. I seen it was a cover. It's about a car. I don't know what kind of car, but I think his name's Susie. And if Cincinnati is a car, I'm not sure. Al Jardine's on vocals. A Casual Look is a cover. Levin Jardine on that one, singing it. Blueberry Hill, the Fats Domino tune. He's not listed under that name, but I think it's probably he wrote it somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's a much older song. I'm sorry. That's right. It is an older song that he just happened to cover as well. So you're covering a cover of a cover of a cover. It's been covered so many times, but it's a great song. Louis Armstrong even did it. I mean, a lot of people have done that song. So Mike Love sings that one. Back Home, Wilson and Bob Norberg. I don't know who he is. Brian Wilson sings it. I thought he did. In the Still of the Night is a cover by Dennis Wilson. I remember if I forget who the original group was on that one. It's a good tune. This One's My Life is a Jerry Goff, Kill King, and Phil Spector tune. They always worked together back then. Carl Wilson and Brian Wilson. I don't know who the cover is, but those are the writers. Carl Wilson sing the thing, which is great, and that is the album. Oh, Talk to Me as part of Tallahassee Lassie that Freddie Cannon did. Yeah, there's something coming out. We Got to Groove the Brothers Studio Years. It is coming out in February. It's listed here. I just saw it last night coming up, which I may have to at least run over that at some point down the road a bit. I may have to cover that one, at least mention it. Yeah, it's January 23rd now. It was on the 20th, so that was on Tuesday they announced this thing. It's going to be vinyl and CD. The Beach Boys Love You and a bunch of other outtakes. And 50 Big Ones will have outtakes as well. And some other sessions will be on it, so. We have some alternate mixes here that I can mention about, which is great. It's from 15 Big Ones. Obviously, We Love You. The Beach Boys Love You is next, but we'll see what's on here. We are going to have, when it comes out, Just What's in My Life, Money Money, which is great, or Money Money, sorry, will be on there. Running Bear, interesting. I'll have to check this album out. There's some cool covers. All right, I'll have to go check this album out when it comes out in a month. Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Oh, nice. On Broadway. Oh, this is going to be fun. Yeah, I'm going to have to go pull this. I'm going to have to go hear this section of the album. Sea Cruise. Oh, man. Wow. Chapel of Love, another version of that one. So I can skip that one because it's already on there. Short Skirts. And then the backing track to TM Song. A backing track for Rock and Roll Music. Interesting. Headophonia, the backing tracks for it. Just With My Life, a backing track of that. So yeah, obviously when we get to Beach Boys Love You, we can see what tracks are going to be on that one. Because they're putting the albums in, but they're having all these other mixes and stuff. We'll be going through that sometime after February. I think it's 15th. I think I don't know where I'll be by then in the reviews, but pretty close, I imagine. Aldrin lead and backing and guitar. Mike Love is on lead and backing vocals and arranger. Brian Wilson lead and backing vocals and piano, and that is it. Oh, and organ and Moog bass and ARP synthesizer and what is that? ARP string ensemble and bass guitar and harmonica and chimes and bells and arranger. And then Carl Wilson lead and backing vocals and guitars. And bass and synthesizer and Juice harp and percussion. Dennis Wilson on lead and backing and drums and percussion and vibraphone. The two guys again are going to be Ronald Buck piano, harpsichord and accordion, Eddie Carter guitar, Billy Hinch guitar. That's him, a lot of the usual suspects. Guests are Daryl Dragon on clavinet and vocal arrangement. He's back. Dennis Dragon on drums. Ricky Fader on drums. He's still on this thing as a guest. They left the band, but he's still on here as a guest, so that's good for Ricky Fader. Bruce Johnson backing vocals and piano. Interesting. Bruce Johnson came in. Oh, good for Bruce. Charles Light on flute. Tony Tennille on backing vocals. I assume it's the captain of Tennille, but I don't know. Does anyone know? Again, as I've said before, is that him? Marilyn Wilson on backing vocals. I think she even says "Hi Brian" at some point on the album. Roy Wood is credited as Roy Wood and Wizard on saxophone, something like that. Initial session guys like alto saxophone and clarinet. Ben A on guitar. Hal Blaine drums. Okay, he's back. Jerry Cole guitar. Steve Douglas on saxophone and horns and flute. Dennis Breathe, saxophone and clarinet. I can't quite tell what that's supposed to be. Tim Gilman on bass. Gene Estes on percussion, sorry. Carl Alfatina accordion. Jim Huckard on string bass. Jules Jacobs on clarinet. Plus Johnson on saxophone. Jackie Kelso saxophone and clarinet. Jack Nimitz on saxophone and clarinet. Yeah, there's lots of nice kind of woody, reedy horn stuff on here, flutes and stuff. Jim McLaury saxophone and horns and flute. He's back again. Carolee Miller auto harp. Ooh, that's fun. I didn't remember hearing an auto harp. Those are kind of distinctive. Ray Pullman on bass. Loretz on bass. Bobby Shue on trumpet. Tommy Tedesco guitar. Julius Swichter percussion and bells. Marina L. West harp. The Shid Sharp strings. Oh, that's their name. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, the Sid Sharp strings are on here. Murray Adler on violin. Arnold Bellick violin. Henry Ferber violin. Lloyd Class violin. Yeah, Class violin. Lou Class on violin. They must be related. Bernard Condell violin. William Kurish violin. James Jetsoff violin. He's back. Henry L. Roth violin. Sidney Sharp on violin. There's our sharp strings. Ty Brzezek violin. So some of the guys from the other strings, I guess, got into this group here. That's our people, our technical people here. Towards the Dean Evans on album cover art direction and the logo of it. And that is all they list. They don't list any engineers. I think it was mostly Brian again? And like yeah, I don't know. But yeah. But again, considering all the friction and everything that was happening, a pretty good album resulted, I thought. I don't think it was as haphazard as it had been previously, which is good. I think if you're, all kind of in one mind, you could do a little better stuff here. Yep. But the next one is going to be the Beach Boys Love You. That's what it's called. They're in 77. That'd be interesting with punk kind of really, so I guess in 75, 76, but really punk starts to start going in, but I don't think we'll have any punk stuff on anything, but we'll see if Brian Wilson will be able to contribute more. I know in 78 it was in a special. They did do Beach Boys did do a special around this time too. I think it's called the Beach Boys. I don't know where you can find such things, but there is a Beach Boys special where he is on it, they're on it. I don't know if they just play music or if someone talks to them. I don't know what it is. There's something in 78 where they get Brian Wilson on a surfboard. I've seen that clip years ago. So there's at least something in 78. I think really in 78 he really kind of starts to really kind of be more okay. And oh, he did go to a psychiatrist also in this period. There was some friction with him in the sessions too. I think he was trying just to get Brian to do things, get motivated, talk to the group members. I don't know. There's a lot of friction with this guy and other things, but I hope it did Brian some good because he must have needed it. I'm glad he got a hold of someone, got a hold of one, or he did. Because it's not good to just lay around and eat and drink and chain smoke and stuff like that. Just, better to get out and do something. Keep your mind busy. And I know Phil Collins in his autobiography, when he stopped being busy, that's when he started to drink and just kind of go off the rails. He's like, I should never have stopped being busy. Because when I was busy, I wasn't thinking about stuff, and alcohol's everywhere. And he got over it, I think, but his health, I think, has suffered. But he's still around. Brian is passed away now, but he lived a good life. But we'll see if he can keep going and get some stuff happening with the band there. See what interesting sounds and other things might be happening instrumentation wise that I always kind of like to hear. Different horns and stuff around. That's kind of cool. But we'll see what happens in 77. Next time when I do this, and I will see you guys in the next one, the next video.